Stand for the pledge. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, please stand for the pledge, then roll call, right?
Yes.
Okay. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Swab, Mrs. Brewer,
Here.
Mr. Biesecker,
Here.
Mr. Manuel, Mrs. Hill.
Here. Hi, I would like to welcome everyone here this evening. Unfortunately, Scott could not come, and looks like Mr. Manuel's not here either, so he may be coming and joining us, but next we will do items A and B. Can I have a motion for the
So moved.
Second.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Biesecker,
Yes.
Mrs. Hill.
Yes. Next, item C, approval of the minutes from the regular board meeting of August 13th and September 3rd. Do I have a motion for that? So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Biesecker,
Yes.
Mrs. Hill.
Yes. And now we have our student spotlight, the favorite part of the meeting. Is that going to be Mr. Daughtery or something?
All right, Sophia Bush shines as a student who leads by example for her hard work, kindness, and positive attitude. She consistently puts forth her best effort. Sophia is especially passionate about cheerleading, which I'm sure her energy and enthusiasm brings joy to those around her. What makes Sophia stand out the most is her genuine care for others. She's always willing to lend a helping hand, never complains, and encourages her classmates to do their best. Younger students naturally look up to her as she demonstrates excellent leadership skills by guiding them with patience, respect, and a cheerful spirit. Sophia's dedication, kindness, and determination make her a role model for her peers and a positive influence within our school community. I'm proud to celebrate Sophia for all her wonderful qualities she brings each day.
Come on down, Lennox. So Mr. Sweeterman could not be here today, but he nominated Lennox Burgett, and I'm going to try to read this because I didn't bring my reading glasses. I have chosen Lennox Burgett as this month's student spotlight. During the short time she has been in my class, she is not afraid to ask questions and share when she does not understand something. She continues to have a positive attitude and is kind to all other students. Her witty personality and sense of humor has made her a fantastic addition to our classroom. I look forward to seeing her growth this year. For all these reasons, Lennox Burgett is my student spotlight.
This evening, we have Haven Evans. Her teacher, Mrs. Osborne, said, I've chosen Haven Evans for this month's student spotlight. She is very focused and motivated to be successful in her academics. She is conscientious in all of her schoolwork, and her work is always completed on time, neatly, and correctly. Hayden is respectful and responsible and truly exemplifies what it means to be Bradford's best. Congratulations, Hayden. Next is Jalen Greavy, nominated by Mrs. Reed. I've chosen Jalen Greavy for this month's student spotlight. We've been in school for a few weeks now, and I believe Jalen has had one of the best transitions I've seen from a 7th grader from summer back into school. I have Jalen 2 class periods a day, and each time I see her, she is kind, respectful, and always going above and beyond to participate in class discussions, even when the topic isn't as entertaining as others. At the start of every school year, it normally takes students a few weeks to get back into the groove of school and the routines teachers set in place. However, from the very first day, Jaylin has done an outstanding job in the classroom. Along with this, she has also had a very positive attitude towards lessons and activities being done in the classroom. It is very easy to join in with the crowd and complain when a task does not seem very fun. With Jaylin, she has been choosing to look on the bright side and share her optimism with the class. So congratulations to Jaylin.
Thank you. Mr. Daughtery, do you want to get a picture of them?
We're gonna have Mrs. Unthankful, she'll.
Okay, just, we like to get one group photo. Thank you, and you guys are free to leave if you want. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but
Congratulations.
you can leave if you want.
We can add it to you, right?
Good seeing you. Hey, you. Take care, bro.
And our next item of business is our administrative reports. Mr. Daughtery, want to go first?
Actually, that's Jody's first.
Okay.
Jody wants to first. Well, Jody started hers like on Monday, so.
So the new person gets to that first.
She jumped ahead of me. I'm just-
Yeah, just a couple highlights, emphasizing the Facebook and PBIS program that we put in place this school year. We're trying to put an emphasis on kind of telling our story through the district Facebook page to begin the school year. Data taken from this past Monday shows that, those following our Facebook page, it's up 155% from the previous 28 days. So we're trying to get, some things of interest on there for people. 23,000 people have engaged with the page, and that's up about 283%. So we're real happy with that. Gained 92 followers over the past 28 days, and a total of 1,327 people are following it as of Monday. So those are good numbers. Our PBIS system is going strong through the first 2 weeks of school. At some of our professional development today, I shared data with our staff, so they're aware. 7,266 times students have been recognized for their positive choices and reinforced. I think that's a pretty high number for just 2 weeks of school. So we're really seeing a lot of effort from our teachers and our staff to really start to, really just give positive reinforcement to kids as opposed to always addressing our negative behaviors that might be occurring. So of course, we're still addressing those as well, but that's the whole point of PBIS, is to focus on the positive and reinforce those good positive choices. So that's where we're at with those two programs.
Thank you. And I've seen a lot of people are saying how great it is to see all that.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun.
Facebook stuff.
Yeah, it's the it can only help communication, so I think I've heard a lot of good comments. in the community
Even the
as
old
well.
photos, they're really.
Well, that was someone's idea.
Yeah.
They kind of suggested, I'm like, that's a great idea.
And I think people will
Right
look
here.
forward to it each week.
I think so
knowing-
too, because sometimes people don't always have kids in the school anymore, but those things might be of interest to them, so it kind of,
Yeah.
sucks some people into that.
Looks good.
Yes, it's great. Thank you.
Okay, so we're only a couple weeks in, but we've had a really big thing happening this weekend, which is our Habitat Hero of the Pollinator program that we're doing with the Miami County Park Service. They are, it's a kind of a two-part program. The first part took place on Monday and Tuesday here at the school. They actually utilized the courtyard. They did candle making. They did a couple of other different things. They introduced the Quest program. And then starting today, they will be taking a field trip to Stillwater Prairie and talk about pollinators and pollinators in their natural environment. And then they're also planting our wildflower plots, which would be on the south side of the building, kind of where the old FFA planters were. So I've heard some really positive things. Kids seem to be really enjoying it. They're going to, the Park Services really playing this up, contacting local media. They're really doing a whole push on this. So keep your eyes open because hopefully we'll be seeing some positive news stories come out of this. So after this week, they'll do a quest program where they'll have somebody in the library on a regular basis to hand out books. The kids can get a backpack that would have stuff like microscopes and different things that they can use for different activities after doing pollination. And they'll run that through right around Thanksgiving. That's about the time when the cold kills off all the pollinators. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So. Oh, and then I have copies for you guys. So I did some examining into how other local schools in the area have been working with LifeWise. And I created this chart. I'm not going to go over everything in the chart. There were some schools that I contacted that didn't get back with me. I was able to pull their data off the LifeWise website, but for the most part, I got a lot of good information. First of all, in Shelby County, they must be starting the process because most of the schools are still in the collecting signatures phase of the process. So kind of some general things. The majority of schools have kind of started off with a couple grades and are slowly looking at expanding beyond those grades. Troy, for instance, right now is just doing grades 2 and 3, but they are planning on moving more grades as time goes on. Most schools are utilizing specials or lunch. Recess times, some schools are utilizing some intervention time for their LifeWise program. And most schools have between a 20 to 50% enrollment. We're a little bit more on the higher side. The problem with that though is a lot of schools haven't officially started their LifeWise program, so they don't have the current enrollment numbers. So some of the schools were giving me last year's numbers. They also expected, especially the schools where LifeWise was new, they expected to see those numbers increase.
What is our percentage?
It's right around 40%. It's like 38 point something. I rounded up to
Okay.
40. So, and that was as of the last list that Rebecca gave me. So, any other questions about LifeWise?
So will you explain to us how we do it?
So, for 3rd grade, it's in lunch. When Mrs. Levy was principal, they took a look at our schedule and they carved time out of what would be intervention time for that. One of the reasons why they did that is they wanted to keep it all in one day. And they didn't want to touch specials because they consider specials to be instruction time and they didn't want that time. So when the kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade go, the kids do intervention at that time. So,
And it's still that way?
yeah. So that's what, so when the kids who stay here do intervention, while the kids that go. And because we have a 40% rate, that does allow for the kids that stay a little bit more of a smaller group type of thing.
Because when they presented it to us, we never knew it was coming out of intervention. We only thought it was out of specials. I remember like when I talked to Sherry Roth about it for hours and hours and hours, and she said it would be out of specials or lunch or recess.
Mhm.
But I think taking it out of intervention time, I think students need that time. I would much rather it be out of specials because that's what we thought it was, out of specials. I think that those people that need intervention, they need intervention. And you can't stop them from going, but I think it needs to be a time when they're not getting that intervention.
I am hesitant to take it out of specials time just because I also
But that's the
believe-
only thing we thought it was. We never knew it got changed. So I 100% support it out of specials, but I don't support it out of that, to taking them out of the thing.
Can I jump in here with an explanation?
Yes.
The way I understand this is that was the original conversation. It was supposed to be coming out of library time, I think is what it was designed around. When we talked after the last board meeting, we talked about a lot how this thing has evolved. And basically they looked at it and said, there's no way to do that with all the grades that we're talking about. So Michelle basically modified the schedule to add another special. And then that's what they
Yeah,
were coming out of
so the-
LifeWise with.
Intervention time is, those kids still have intervention time that day. She created a new intervention time, so the kids wouldn't have to move special. So she stole a little bit of time from here and there during that day. Maybe take a little bit out of the library time, so they could still go to the library, because we don't want the kids who that go to LifeWise to miss library time as well. And created this time for them to go. So it was kind of like, and she was explaining it to me. She said that they took as much time as they could from other areas so they wouldn't have to miss those specials. So that's kind of how it happened. So they still have intervention. I mean,
But are there people missing intervention that need it? Like, because when I talked to you about it, you said you were gonna check the numbers to see how we did on the report card and see if it helped. And I'm like, but they shouldn't be taken out of that instruction.
and those, I mean, and those are, they're not in third grade, and for instance, it's taken out of lunch.
Mhm.
So they're not missing any time. What I wanted to look at is to see how our numbers change with LifeWise in the picture
Mhm.
before we decided to continue to expand it. Kind of do a freeze, take a look at it. And to be honest, actually, even one of the things I want to look at is, do we see, how are our kids coming back from missing recess? Does that have an effect on things? Because, we've got the lunch and now we're collecting all this data. I want to see, do we see an uptick in behavioral after, because these kids, I mean, we have some kids that really need to burn off some of that steam. So we need to look at, I mean, I want to look at a bunch of different things and make a informed decision before, we continue to move up. I don't know what I'm going to find. That's the whole idea, whole purpose behind, let's take a look at it. This is my first year. I want to be able, before I make that decision and make that commitment, I want to make sure I'm doing what's best for our kids. So I was not, I mean, Michelle made those decisions last year. Now that I'm here, I want to make sure, and I don't want our kids to lose out on specials. I mean, my wife graduated and got an art full ride at Ashland University in art. My son's best friend is up in Bowling Green, studying music.
I understand that, and I think those are great to have, but I don't think taking them out of their time with their tutor are the ones that really need that. I don't think that's.
And they're still getting intervention that day. They're just not getting that second intervention.
That they need. I mean, I just think that's instructional time that they need. When we agreed to this and they came and told us it was going to be out of special, it was not going to be any intervention or any classroom time like that. It was going to be out of specials, lunch and recess. But I didn't know until I asked, because someone said that about them missing their tutor time. I just think it needs to be a time when it wouldn't be that instructional time.
How many kids would that affect though, that would go to intervention, that would
Well,
also go to
I mean,
LifeWise?
we're talking 40%, so.
That's
A lot
Yeah.
of kids,
Well, if I can just interject, we also have to remember, this is a parent choice.
right?
This is a parent choice. If they want their child to go to LifeWise, they're also giving us permission that, they're gonna miss some things. It's almost inevitable. You're gonna miss something, whether it be art or
Mhm.
music or,
But do
An
the parents
additional
know
intervention.
they're missing that intervention time and not art or music? Because the way it's always been presented was it was specials. Never did I know until I just asked. It wasn't specials. Like, I just think from what we originally said, oh, that would be okay, but now I just feel like it's not. I think we're taking them out of that instructional time for that.
I mean, the only other solution would be to meet with LifeWise and say we need to take it out of lunch and recess, and that would, and that
Why
would-
can't we do it out of the specials?
I don't want it, I see specials as instruction time as well. I don't want them to miss that time. I've talked to 2 different schools. Both schools said that they've had problems with taking out specials. They have kids that are okay with missing art and music, but when it's PE day, they don't want to miss. So now they're fighting with those kids whose parents say, no, we want your kids to go to LifeWise, and they don't want to go to LifeWise. They want to hang out and go to gym. So I think there are a lot of issues with that. I think if we take it out of specials, I'm afraid that what message are we sending our specials teachers? That your class isn't as important as math or reading, because we're not going to take it out of that time. We're going to take it out of that specials time.
Or the tutoring time, it's the same. I mean, I don't know. I just think I thought when we agreed to it, we agreed that it was going to be specials or that other time. I didn't know they were losing. I didn't think, how would this affect our scores? When you said, well, we got to see how it does on our scores, I'm like, why would it affect it? I didn't know the kids were coming out of tutoring. So.
I
So we
mean,
really should.
if the board would choose to, change how they want to do it, I'm willing to do whatever the board wants to do.
I mean, you were on when we did that, when we started that. Did you know they were going to come out of instruction? I mean, like tutoring time or not?
I honestly, I think that was when I was just coming on. I don't recall the conversation around what they were being pulled from. I can't say that I remember that.
Okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
All right, so 2 weeks rest roughly into our school year. Things have been going very, very well. And a lot of that has to do with no cell phones, truly. We have far less students in the hallways during class periods, far less kids asking to go to the restroom. We typically have junior high students that will try to get out of their classes on a daily or on a period basis to go to the bathroom just to play on their phone. We do not have that any longer. We have less students targeted to class. So we have kids that are making it to class on time and far less drama. Now, granted, we're 2 weeks in. Typically, a whole lot of drama doesn't typically start until after the pumpkin show. But by and large, kids are talking in lunch, in the hallways. There's conversations taking place, which is something that we hadn't seen in the past. It was all staring at a cell phone or their Chromebook. And really, a lot of kids aren't even bringing their Chromebook to lunch. They're actually sitting, talking to their friends, having conversations. It is louder in the junior high lunch especially, but it's the only time that they really get what I would call free period, because we don't have recess for middle school. I've had 3 parents call to thank me, which I didn't really do this, but I agree with it wholeheartedly. And only as of today, 7 total cell phones turned in. So, and the kids aren't complaining. The teachers are obviously happy, but the kids aren't complaining about it. And, when you, just like with your own child, when you take something away from them, they typically complain. Well, our kids aren't complaining. In fact, Mrs. Ray and I have had a couple conversations with our upperclassmen, and they are relieved, where they say they get a break from their cell phone throughout the course of the day now. So that's been kind of nice. We do have quite a few things coming up. So next month I'll have a lot more to share, but these are the things coming up over the next month or so. We have Volley for the Cure against Arcanum next Thursday. We have PTO. We have Buff and Tough Powder Puff with Homecoming Week starting the first full week of October, and then, or not first full week, but the last week of September into October. Homecoming Parade is that Friday, the 3rd at 6:10. And then the crowning will be at 6:30. Homecoming game, which should say the 3rd, not the 4th, is against Ansonia. And then the homecoming dance that next Saturday from 7 to 10. So it's our biggest dance of the year. We have 200 kids in the cafeteria, and they do a great job each year. So I don't expect that to be any different. And then we roll right into the pumpkin show week, which is always kind of hectic and crazy around the school, but the kids, love it. We have no school on that Wednesday for PD day, and then we have a 2-hour release with the parade starting at 1:30. So we'll get all lined up, ready to go, and head uptown. So, any questions about any of that?
Mr. Hirsch?
Would you like me to go next?
Sure.
Okay. I've got a couple things here to explain. First of all, we've got our vans. We've got 2 of the 3 vans already get the graphics on them, and I think they turned out absolutely amazing. Wintro Sign over in Greenville did the job, and they've been amazing to work with and much more affordable than some of the other quotes that we've gotten. So we proudly parked them in the
I saw that.
parking lot here this evening to show them off a little bit for anybody coming in. They're dirty, unfortunately, but I think they look great. Head Start restrooms are done. Our restroom, or our teachers are loving it, having the kids down there and using the bathroom and not having to waste educational time going down the hallway, getting to the other bathrooms and then back. So it's been absolutely godsend with that. I've got 2 greenhouses on here. There's actually pictures of both of them here on my slide. The one in the bottom left corner is already being used. We've got the grow towers, the pineapple looking grow towers that are pictured right next to that bottom left greenhouse and courtyard are in that greenhouse as well. The FFA has already, the ag department has already started some seeds. They're already planted in the rock wool. We're waiting for them to get just a little bit bigger before they put them in those pineapple grow towers, and then they will be self-sufficient out there in the greenhouse. So we're excited about that. The second greenhouse, the bigger one, I've got a picture of the blueprints there. Those have already come in that way, but they're working on the architectural work on the knee wall that goes underneath of it so we can start the foundation and all that sort of thing. They wanted to make sure that the greenhouse itself was designed to the right size before they started doing the knee wall. The walk-off entries, Skip's got the one back here by the athletic opening, or the main doors back here already completed, and he's going to be working on the ones in the front of the building here in the next week or so. Something that's on our agenda here tonight is our roof project, and this has been a long time coming. We applied for a grant better than 15 months ago. In fact, I'm going to say almost 2 years. Well,
It was,
obviously, yeah.
we had to
close
have it in
2
by
years.
June 17th of 2024.
Okay. We finally found the award was given to us at how much in late summer. And since then, we've been scrambling because everything has to be substantially started before December 31st of this year. So we've worked with a couple different companies to make sure we got the best price available. We've worked with a couple different companies for the roofing project because we don't want to put brand new solar panels on the roof that is 23 years old. So we've also looked at roofing companies and tried to put that together as well. So the 2 pieces that you're going to see on the agenda this evening, the roofing project, you can see the middle picture there is the set of 3 phases that we will have for the roofing project. The dark red one there labeled A is over top of the gym, the auditoria, and the band room. That area will be done immediately. So we're going to send off the contract tomorrow morning. They will start on that this year and get it done before Christmas time. It's actually written in the contract that they're done within 100 days, which is December 19th, I think is what it was. That is coming to us at a price of $771,000 before rebates. Now, with the solar project that we've got on top of it, this white roof, and this is just the flat roof part that we're doing, this white roof is going to be reflective and be able to allow the dual panels to absorb sunlight from the top and the bottom. So that's why it's going to basically give us these tax incentives back as a part of the roof as well. Now, that's the whole roof that I told you the price on. The other 2 phases, which would be B, which is the 2 blue areas over top of the board office and the mechanical room and the cafeteria up in the front. Those will be done along with C, which is the academic circle basically, or square there at the bottom. Those will be done over the summer 26. So that way we don't have interruptions over top of the classrooms, the majority of the classrooms there while classes are going on. So we wanted to make sure that was separated. Now on the flip side, there are some spaces there that are green painted sloped roofs, We want those metal roofs painted at some point. Those might actually have to be done this spring while we have academics going on in those classrooms, but we hope that's not as big a disruption as replacing the roof itself. Now, the second piece is, you can see the third slide on the far right of the solar panels. That is what it's going to look like on top of the gymnasiums there on section A. We've got 304 kilowatts worth of electric panels going in for a cost of $1.2 million. That's before the $500,000 grant. That's before the tax incentives. And after everything's done there, we expect that to be just under $400,000 cost to the district for those solar panels. In talking to Amoresco, the group that we're working with, they estimate it's going to be between 7 and 11 years before we get the returns back where they're completely paid for. So after that 7 to 11 years, and everything's forecasted, obviously, but after that time, basically everything's gravy at that point. So it'll offset our electric bills between 40 and 50%. So obviously, and with the hikes that we're expecting out of our electric bills in the recent future here, we feel like it's going to probably even be quicker than that. So a couple other things I wanted to just throw out there. We've had the CEP. Thank you to Cheryl Clark and the kitchen staff that are working with that. Free lunches and free breakfast for every kid in our school. It's been going great. They've been working. They've got a cart that comes down to the high school end in the mornings and feed the kids there in the hallways. The kids have been wonderful with that, making sure things are picked up and not leaving messes behind. So we're very impressed with that, but our numbers are ginormous. We have actually, Cheryl is actually taking that same cart back to the cafeteria in the morning because the elementary is so populated that they can't hardly get through the line in time to get to classes. So she's selling stuff off the cart too. So it basically is opening up the second line to get those kids through quicker. Great thing. I told you last month that we were working on Neola policies for cell phones and a couple other things. I have a meeting set up with our Neola rep coming up soon, so I don't have those on the agenda tonight, but they're coming soon. That is coming down the pike. And then the last thing is I want the public to understand what's going on with our field house. I know there's been questions out there. We were waiting on a grant that we applied for. Well, it's been quite some time. We originally applied for this grant about a year ago. We were deferred and then said apply again this spring, or I'm sorry, this fall. We applied. We just got the word back this last week that we did not get the grant. And it was going to add enough space onto the field house to put the weight room in. So we were kind of hedging on that before we move forward. Knowing that has happened at this point, we're going to put our original plan in motion with the 12,000 square foot facility. We'll see how much difference it is when the bids come in and put it in as an alternate to see, can we still put a field house in, or I'm sorry, can we still put a weight room on the field house? But we were hoping that $500,000 grant was going to pay for that. So at this point, that's where we are. But we will be advertising for the architect and move forward in the next few weeks here. So that being said, that's my report unless there's questions.
So do those solar panels, how long do those last? I mean, if it takes 7 to 10 years to see the return, what's the lifetime of those panels?
I've been told they last 30 to 40 years.
Okay.
The ones we had was the first year I was on the board, so 18 years ago.
So almost
Put
20
those.
years. from
First
now.
year I was here.
So-
Yeah,
And-
that's a good,
Yep, and what they say is they'll continue to operate and give you electricity back, but they're not as efficient as they get older. So
makes
kind of
sense.
like a battery, but
yeah.
at the same time, it doesn't deplete it like a battery does as fast as it does.
They were basically talking that we lose about 1% per year on the efficiency
Efficiency.
of it. So it.
Takes a long time.
And the panels they're putting up today are so much better than the panels were, and I think that was like 2008 when they put
When I
those
got on.
panels.
Yep.
And when I look at the cost of those panels versus what we're looking at today, and then these tax credits are just absolutely phenomenal with what we're trying to do. we're actually, when we allocated the cost for the roof and set it aside a few years ago, we set aside $1.5 million, and that was just to repair the roof portion. But with everything, and with doing the entire roof, and I'm gonna remember what those, we're gonna be right, is it right at
It's right at $1 million.
$1 million to do the roof, to get more efficient panels. 2 years ago, we were paying 4 cents a kilowatt hour. Right now, we're at 6.1% kilowatt hours. That's continuing to go up, and they can't find anything in the market that's going to make it any better. So I think it's just a perfect time. We were lucky enough to try to get into this grant. It took us considerably longer than we anticipated, because we thought we were going to hear last September, and a year later, we finally hear. But this has been an interesting process to have gone through, but I would say we vetted that to the point where it couldn't possibly be vetted anymore. But I think we've got a great product as a result of it.
Anything else? Next is my report for Upper Valley. I brought this paper, I'll pass it down to you guys. It shows our enrollment numbers this year. Now, this has changed since my last meeting. I'm sure we lost some kids the first couple weeks, but they're at 1,198 people, which is 54 more than it was the year before. And I mean, 50 more than it was in August of 24. So I just have the numbers broke down, like every program is pretty much full. At 25 or more, some programs have like 36 kids, and some depending on, but I'll just pass that around so you can see. I wrote at the top, one's juniors and one's seniors. But things are going great there. They're off to a great start, and I know we have a lot of students there. So that's all I have on Upper Valley, unless anybody has questions. Next, do we didn't have any or we have public participation? No?
No.
Okay.
Do you want,
I'm gonna
are you
skip
doing
one.
this now? Or are you
Yeah.
doing this
Why don't we get through this now? I'll give my report and then we'll do the
Okay.
forecast. I'm under duress. I've been instructed that I can't spend money.
You are fine. You explain away.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you a couple things that have happened since we started this year. This has been an interesting summer because of all the changes from the state, which there's a lot of underlying things that are going on. They discontinued a lot of the account numbers. I've got a lot of interesting things to deal with. We are tracking more things in the general fund. The general fund is somewhat under attack. And so are real estate taxes. I'll talk about that a little bit in the 5-year forecast, but it's just been a very busy summer, and I don't see it coming to an end for a while. I think we're looking at some difficult times in the next year or so. And as I go through the forecast, that'll enlighten you a little bit more about it. We've gone to a credit card system for people here in the district who want to pay for some of their fees. We had one before that could go online, but this is actually, we particularly didn't want our parents to pay any more than they had to. So we found a fairly low cost system. People are starting to use it, and I think it's an option. This is going to be a cashless society at some point, and so we felt like we had to get into that mode. So it's working. We're going to, I guess the athletic boosters are going to start using
They
it
have their two.
for their tickets.
Yep.
And we did it as a partnership. And so I think it's going to be a good thing for people in the district and will allow us to expand a lot of things. I'll be closing out some grants before long. We are coming to a close on the cafeteria grant, and that's just been a great thing. And it's been one that has enthused people. I think it was the start of why CEP got to be so popular. And it's not only that we're feeding all the kids, we're feeding them healthier than ever. So I think that's just been a great positive. And Mrs. Clark, when she comes down, she's just motivated. She's bringing in fruit from her home that she's grown, and then we're going to do this, and we have the orchard. I just think it's a wonderful situation for us, and it'll allow the kids to have a little bit healthier life. And now I'm going to try to very quickly go through the forecast and give you some highlights. I did give you hard copies of this tonight because I know it's a lot of information to go through. And it's a lot to get a forecast together in September of the year. It's always been November 30th for the last several years. So I now have to report this year. I'm given till October 15th. Our next board meeting is going to be at October 15th. So I needed to do it at this board meeting. We're going to be reporting in the future by the end of August and by the end of February. So you'll see me coming to you with a 5-year forecast again in February, except it's not a 5-year forecast. Our policy calls for a 5-year forecast, but we're only required to give 4 years to the state, and there's somewhat of an opinion on that coincides with the time that the Fair School Funding Plan could come to an end, and they may implement something different. So we could possibly see us losing a lot of foundation money at that time. Well, by not having that 4th year in there, we're not going to see the effects of that on the forecast. So that's the general thought on that. But as we go through, and Joe, I'm going to skip that. I don't think that's anything that anybody's really going to worry about. But as we go through the state budget legislative concerns, they did continue to phase in the fair school funding. And we were lucky enough that the governor vetoed 4 provisions of House Bill 96, but there's still 14 proposed laws out there that are going to affect real estate taxes. And they run the gambit. There's just a lot of controversy. There's been petitions circulating to get it on the ballot to eliminate real estate taxes altogether. So that's a huge part of school funding. So that's a real concern. That doesn't look like a terrible concern to us like it is in some districts because we only get about 15% of our funding from that. But what happens, it's a domino effect. So the way this works with the state is everybody has a balancing act. So if you're getting from other sources, you get less state foundation. So if some of these people lose money from real estate taxes, their state foundation goes up and conversely ours will come down. So it is a tremendous concern. There's even some legislation out there that a county commissioner can determine that the homestead that's in the current law that the state pays, that if the commissioners decide, they can basically eliminate that by giving a double exemption, so you just won't get the money anymore. So lots of things going on. Senate can act on this clear up to December 31st, 2026, and there's this Taxpayers Freedom Trilogy Act. That was introduced in August, and that's what I'm talking about. This is more of these legislative changes that could impact the amount of money that we're going to have to operate. So we're going to have a campaign educating people on why they shouldn't eliminate their own real estate tax bill. And there was a survey done by Paul Fallon, and right now his surveys are usually pretty spot on, and 66% of the people in Ohio would vote to eliminate real estate taxes. So this is
Not knowing the consequences.
not understanding. So we're going to have to do some real education on this and try to make people understand that we have children to educate, and these are the funds it takes to do it. So that's some of the things that are happening statewide. In our particular case, we've done very well in the last few years from the standpoint that we've been able to get grants and other things that have allowed us not to spend as much out of the general fund. I think we've done exactly what the state would want us to do. And some of these things I look as a consequence of us working well to do what we need to do. But if everything stays in place, we've got a situation where we're just basically on the current trajectory, we would just basically be even at the end of 30. So not a lot of changes that we're looking at. We're still more dependent on state funding than we are anything. And as I said, I gave you the forecast to look over. If you have any questions about that in particular, these are based in figures that we're really projecting on spending this year, but we still have enough days of cash if they do anything dramatically, but it's a short-term fix. So I'm just going through these. If you have questions about them, and I didn't know if you had a chance to look at them when I send them out this weekend, or I guess I didn't get them sent out until Monday. But if you have any particular questions about this, there's not a lot of difference from the past right now. So this is
I got
basically,
them when you first sent it. I got them the first time you sent it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I did get it.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, if you have any particular questions, I don't want to have daggers tomorrow saying you talked too long, but I do want you to be informed, but we do have some time. I won't be filing this for a while, so if you come up with any questions, we'll have an opportunity to discuss it and make sure that you have a full understanding of what's going on. But this is just an estimate of where we plan to be until we hear some changes. And lots of things could be happening in this next year. That's why we're so worried about trying to conserve our costs and do some of the things that we need to do to make sure we can operate and give these students the most of what we possibly can. So with that, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. But as I said, the best thing you can look at is the line graph. I think that gives you a perspective on what's going on here. That line graph is also in your report. You have actually much more. This is just a snapshot of what's going on in the district. And with that, I will conclude my report.
Okay. So now, the next item of business is the financial report from the treasurer.
Can I interject just two pieces with that?
Uh-huh.
She had mentioned that we have the credit card machine, the boosters do have one now, they're implementing that in our concession stands. So you will be seeing that as we go to football games, volleyball games, all the athletic events, they will have those credit cards machines available if they don't already now. Second thing is Carla just mentioned that the Fair School Funding Plan is being implemented. It is being implemented, but it's kind of been frozen. So it's there, but it isn't increasing like the original plan was supposed to be. So I wanted to make sure that was clarified just for you. So that was something she and I talked about too, so. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Just give you a brief overview. We've got the financial journal, check register, then and now certification, transfers and advances, permanent appropriation. Want to make a special mention of number 6, and it's in conjunction with Upper Valley. We have a gentleman who is working through a plan foundation where he's going to offset the costs of the students who are leaving here, seniors who are
Seniors and
leaving
then
here and
juniors.
going to Upper Valley. He's going to make sure that they don't suffer any cost after their first year of vocational operations or career technical operations. And he's creating a foundation in order to do that. This doesn't explain all that because most of those costs that we're going to see are going to be, they're going to go directly to Upper Valley, but he's also going to take care of some of the kids here. So very benevolent, been trying to work on this for a few months. So just wanted to make you aware that there's more to the story than this actually gives. The REAP grant, talking about forecast, we just had a discussion of that. completed the general purpose financial statements for June 30th, 2025. They are on the website for your perusal. And the student wellness plan, we're reviewing that for updates. We just want to make sure as we go through that we segregate those costs, and we'll make accounting to the state at the end of the year of what we used all our monies for student wellness.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second for items 1 through 10? I'll second. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mrs. Hill,
Yes.
And now we have new business items 1 through 15.
High points of this, we've got obviously some new hires there with some supplementals in subbing Miami County Foundation, or I'm sorry, Miami County Educational Service Center for number 2. Adult lunches have to increase a little bit to meet state standards, so we're going up to $5 with our adult lunch prices here. We have some early graduations for the next 3. Congratulations to those 3. They should be finished up around Christmas time. Tuition reimbursements for the next 2. Congratulations to those 2. OSBA, we skipped over that last month, so it's on this month's agenda again. We will need a delegate and an alternate for the OSBA conference on November 17th. So we need to circle back to that before we vote this motion through.
Well, I think since Dr. Swab and Mr. Manuel's not here, I think that's
Need
it.
somebody to say
Sorry,
that.
I'm sure they would accept. They will accept. Yeah,
They
they
probably
accept.
just forgot to send that in ahead of
Yeah.
time.
That's what it was.
So I would say we have
I think
a
that's
delegate and a,
So do you want to say which one's which?
yeah. It's bad because it's, yeah. I mean, I always enjoy going, but I can't
It is
take
a
off
good-
work
it's
today.
a
If I
great-
got a professional day, I would do it,
Session,
but I
it really
can't.
is, so.
It really is, but,
Okay.
yeah, I would just say, are you planning on going, Phil? Right? Huh? Yeah, we can put them down. You don't
Okay,
say,
which
we have
one's
to be
which?
there.
Tell me which one's the delegate and which one's the alternate.
Mr. Manuel can be the delegate and Dr. Swab can be the alternate.
They will be so
They'll
proud to
be
hear
so
you say that.
glad.
Okay.
Somebody else make
Yeah.
the motion and second it.
No, we just say, we don't have to vote, we just say, right?
Yep.
just say- it doesn't say they have to
Doesn't
tell.
have
All right,
to,
teach them in the system, yeah.
All right, so we had a grant to put 2 Marks radios into our school building. The next one is to pay for the service. Those are supposed to be installed here in the next month or so. And that will allow our secretaries direct access to the dispatch center in case of an emergency, whatever that emergency is. The next 2 are for Miami County, actually the next 3 are for Miami County Foundation grants. We hope to get those, and they've been great supporting our students over the years. We also have somebody moving to the Masters Plus column, that's number 14. And then, of course, number 15 is the expenditure for an independent educational evaluation for one of our students. It does, actually, the dollars we have in here for this exceeds our administrative guideline 2460. But in shopping around the outdated AG that's in there for $2,800, really couldn't do it. So we couldn't find anybody to do it for that price. We feel like we're getting a good product from the Montgomery County Educational Service Center, and everybody's in favor of them doing it. So that's why that dollar amount's there, $5,000. Let's try.
I do have one question on the lunches.
Certainly.
You said that went up for adult prices. Is
Yep.
that like staff adult, not kids
Yes.
over 18?
Nope,
Just
nope,
staff
it's
with
just staff.
Okay.
It is no students would be affected with that.
Okay.
and that was a requirement.
Yeah.
From Child Nutrition Services that they
You
said
have
we
to
were
have an
too low.
adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure when it said adults, it didn't mean our.
Yeah, it wasn't 18-year-old
Okay.
students. No students would be affected by that motion.
Can I have a motion to approve 1 through 15?
So moved.
And roll call, please.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mrs. Hill.
Yes.
Okay, the next motion is basically saying that we have an urgent necessity to get this roof and solar project done so we can meet the timelines of the grant and the tax incentives. So that's why we're not going through the bidding process, which would take weeks and weeks and weeks to get that done. This will allow us to get involved not only with urgent necessity, but we've already been approved to be in the TIPS and the Qualis purchasing cooperatives. And we will be doing both of those pieces as we go through this to make sure that the auditors don't have any questions or problems.
Okay, I'll move to approve 1 through 5. We have a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mrs. Hill.
Yes.
Next item, 17.
17 is the roofing contract. I mentioned before, it's a $771,000 project. But because it is contingent on the roof, like I said, after rebates and everything, it'll cost right around $600,000 to the district.
Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
I'll second.
And it is a 30-year roof. It's 80 mil membrane. Should have mentioned.
Roll call, please. Sorry.
Now, Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mrs. Hill.
Yes.
And the last one here for the solar contract itself, it's a $1.2 million project plus. Again, after all the rebates and grant, it should cost the district right around $400,000 for the entire project for the solar panels to go on the roof. I should explain, it's not taking any farm ground or anything else. It's all on the roof.
And then motion to approve that.
So moved.
I'll second. So motion and second, roll call, please.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mrs. Hill.
Yes.
And our next item is for executive session, but we're not going to do that because Dr. Swab and Mr. Manuel's not here, so we will do that at our next meeting, conclusion of our next
Sounds
meeting.
good. So we don't need that.
So, motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Brewer,
Yes.
Mr. Bisecker,
Yes.
Mrs. Hill.
Yes.
7:20.